Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So a lot has happened in the last week and a half, so I figured we could do a get ready with me and a story time. So the gist of the story time, I broke my leg, went to Florida, and am getting a fake tooth all in about a week and a half. So for the get ready with me, I'm going to be using the makeup that I packed for Florida that I didn't end up using. But this is all of my good stuff that I packed. First, taking the CoverGirl color correcting serum, moisturizer, and primer. Okay, I took two options for foundations, or no, I took three. I took three options for foundations. I took the e.l.f. Halo Glow, the Hourglass, I can't ever remember what this is called, Vanish Stick, and then the Max Factor Pan Stick. I'm going to go ahead and take the Max Factor Pan Stick. So, how did I break my leg, you might be wondering. I was just going about my business, making dinner, getting ready to make dinner, and I put the dishes away because I needed the counter space to prep my dinner. I had one dish that really needed put away, and it's very high up in the cabinet. I almost didn't put it away. I wasn't going to bother with it, but then it was kind of bothering me because it was just in my way on the counter. Normally I can put it away just fine from the height of my short stool, but the problem was a bunch of other dishes had already fallen down. I had to get up onto the counter. I have two stools, okay? I have a short one and then I have a two-step stool. Now, the two-step stool does get me closer, but I still can't reach the very back of our tallest cabinet with that two-step stool. I just can't. So I got up onto the counter like I've done many times in my life, so many times in my life. I've gotten up onto the counter. Never been a problem before. The only concealer I took with me is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, the hydrating one. It's my favorite concealer. It's the only one I'll ever need, probably. So I got up onto the counter, I fixed the dishes, I put the dish away, and then when I was getting back down off the counter, I was losing my balance, and I kind of had two options. I could try and fall forward, which still probably would have knocked me onto the ground, but I also would have fallen onto our knife block that was right there, and I also would have fallen sort of into the sink, and honestly probably would have broken an arm or something. I still probably would have broke something. But my other option was to try to kind of fall onto the floor and land on my feet. So I tried that. The real problem was I landed on one foot and then lost my balance and fell onto the floor. So, yeah. So I fell onto my right foot, according to the doctor, probably rolled my ankle and then fractured my fibula. So I'll put a picture right here. It is literally the tiniest little fracture in the world, but the amount that it hurts is just insane. It hurt so bad. And the ortho doctor said that a bone's a bone, they all hurt really, really bad. So I've never broken a bone before in my entire life. I did take a cream bronzer and cream blush, so I'm going to go ahead and use those. Taking the Rare Beauty Power Boost bronzer. So that was Monday, and Alex and I were supposed to leave for Florida Tuesday morning at 4:30 a.m. So 12 hours from when I broke my leg. I had no idea that I had broken my bone. I was in a lot of pain. I figured I'm just really, really sore from this thing that happened. Definitely not a broken bone. I assumed I'd probably be pretty bruised the following, few days. Well, the rest of the night, my mom came over and I spent time packing, getting ready, doing all the things that I needed to do for our trip, because our trip was coming up. I put that way too low. Our trip was coming up and I needed to be ready. I got around, I hobbled around with an ice pack just hooked onto my leg, and I was getting around okay, and the more I walked on it, the better that I felt. It really started to feel so much better the more I walked on it. And then I took a shower. Well, I took a bath, because I needed to be clean for our trip. I took a bath, and then after my bath, which was pretty successful, a pain, but I got through it. I wanted to just relax on the couch before I got back to all the stuff I needed to do. as soon as I put my leg up onto the couch, immediately the pain just shot through the roof. And I thought, okay, well, sitting down's not the option. I guess I'm just going to stand back up and continue to do things. Well, standing back up was not much of an option after that. Now I'm taking the e.l.f. Camo blush in Pinky Promise. It got to the point where Alex was trying to help me with the stuff I needed to do because it was obvious I was not going to get all of it done because I couldn't move very well. I don't know why I just put it there, but I guess we're testing something new. I'm going to put blush on my forehead, apparently. It got so bad that I suddenly couldn't move. I was just kind of stopped in the middle of the kitchen, and Alex had to pick me up to even have me, like, put my shoes on because I couldn't put any weight on my right foot. It was so painful. I just stood there crying, got my shoe on, and he's like, do we need to go to the emergency room? And I was like, yes we do. It took a lot of convincing because I really didn't want to go to the emergency room because that meant that something serious was wrong, and I don't like serious things being wrong with me. So we went to the emergency room and I got checked out in the hallway. I kid you not, the freaking hallway, because like they didn't have any rooms. There was no rooms. They were all like booked or whatever on their rooms, even though there was an empty room like catty corner from us. So explain that one to me. You know, they went into an empty room to borrow something out of it, but I couldn't have a room. I had to be checked out in the hallway. And thank goodness I was wearing shorts under my sweatpants because I had to take my sweatpants off for them to put a splint on my leg, which I'll show you guys a picture of the splint as well because that's important to the story. Okay, so the powder I took is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. So I'm going to go ahead and powder my face. Oh my. It got really shook up. I got a splint, and the doctor in the emergency room said that I could put pressure on it. I could walk on it if I, felt like I wanted to. Like if that felt good, I could put pressure on it, I could walk on it. Oh, my makeup is gonna look atrocious. The next morning, Alex and I did decide to go to Florida, even though I really thought I wasn't going to go. I was convinced I was gonna stay. And Alex was like, well, you can sit at home or you can sit in Florida. And I was like, you know what, that's fair. And I didn't really want to sit at home alone anyway. I was definitely very scared because I've never broken anything and it freaked me out. And Alex has broken bones, so he, kind of knew the gist. So we went to Florida. It was a very long car ride with my leg and lots of learning how to use crutches because I have not broken any bones. I've not walked on crutches, so had to figure all that out while we're on the road. Our trip to Florida was a bit of a mess, to be honest, and it wasn't just because of my leg. My leg definitely threw a wrench in a lot of things, but, the event that we went to was crazy packed. It was a sold-out event. Alex had to wheel me around in a wheelchair because, again, it had been only a few days since I broke my leg, and I was just in a splint. I was in a splint that they told me not to stay in for more than a couple of days, but I was going to be in Florida for a week. So I was like, I'm going to have to stay in the splint for a whole week. And then the day we got back was the day of the eclipse. So the doctor's office was closed, so I couldn't even make an appointment to get in to see the ortho doctor until the next day. So we're talking, over a week now. The powder bronzer that I packed is the Revolution Bronzer Reloaded. It's my favorite bronzer. You guys probably aren't surprised at all. This is what I packed. So I finally make an appointment to see the ortho doctor. At first they told me that there wouldn't be an appointment until next Monday. And I was like, that's not going to work. I was told, not to stay in the splint that long. I was scared. I was very scared, and I didn't want to be in the splint any longer than I was already in it because I didn't like the splint. Caused me a lot of pain. Every time I would fall asleep, I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but I think it's a pretty common thing. When I'm falling asleep, a lot of times my body has those, like, twitches. I think it's, like, a body's reaction to, like, make sure you're still alive or whatever. I learned what it was once, and now I don't really remember. But it's like your body's way of, like, making sure that you're still alive when you start to fall asleep or something. And that happens to me a lot, but it was happening every time I fell asleep, but it would just be my right foot. My right foot would twitch, and it would go like this, like, in the direction of my fibula, and it would be so much pain that I would just immediately wake right back up and was in pain. So didn't love that. And I was ready to get into something more sturdy because the splint allowed that much movement that caused a lot of pain. Next up is blush. You guys have probably seen me already using this. It's the Laura Lee Los Angeles Blush Aesthetic Palette. Today I think I'm going to mix Chateau Rose and Tiger Lily. I normally mix Bridal Pink and Tiger Lily, but I want to go a little bit more pink today. What was I talking about? When I got my release papers from the emergency room, they sent me home. You know, they always send you home with like a packet of like telling you what was wrong with you, like what you got checked out. So like it said like fibula fracture, x-rays, you know, all that fun stuff. But then they gave me a paper that was for an ankle fracture. I thought that was a little strange because I was like, I don't have an ankle fracture, but they sent me home with a ankle fracture paper. I'm like, oh, they must have just sent me home with the wrong paper. Yeah, when I got to the ortho doctor, you know, they had me scheduled and they like looked at my paperwork and stuff, and my paperwork to take into the x-rays said ankle fracture. And like there was a list of like all the bones that could be fractured, and like ankle was number 1, and then tibia and fibula was like all the way at the end. And I was like, wait a minute, so like that is an option, but they marked off ankle. And so then I had to correct that, and they had to like look to make sure, because I feel like they thought I was lying. Even though I pulled up like the paper on my phone and like showed them like, yeah, right here it says like mid-shaft fibula fracture. And it says no damage to the ankle. Like I didn't damage my ankle at all. There was no dislocation or anything from my ankle. That was a whole mess. They literally thought my ankle was fractured because that's what the paper said. For brows, I took the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil and my Kaida Brow Styling Cream. You know, I wanted to sit on the couch because I knew sitting in my makeup area was gonna like hurt, but like my leg's starting to go numb just sitting like this, so. And they did double check my ankle just to like be sure, since they had put it down as an ankle fracture, but they were like, yeah, we don't see anything wrong with your ankle, and I'm like, yeah. Okay, so then I finally got to see the ortho doctor, and he took my splint off, and my mom was shocked at like how like flimsy the splint was, like that I had been walking on, you know, for the last several days. I had been, you know, putting pressure on it, walking with crutches, of course, but like I had been walking on it and putting pressure on it like quite a bit. And my mom was just kind of shocked at like what that looked like when it came off. She's like, and you were putting like any kind of pressure or weight on that? And I'm like, yeah, like that's what the, you know, that's what the doctor in the emergency room told me to do. He said that some people, because they were out of crutches, and I had to go get my own crutches. Well, Alex had to go get me crutches. And he told me that some people can just walk on the splint, and like that's fine. And like I couldn't just walk on the splint. I definitely needed the crutches. Just walking on the splint was very, very painful. Oh yeah, and while we were in Florida, we went to Buc-ee's, which was so fun. Buc-ee's was a whole adventure. If you guys have been to a Buc-ee's, then you know like how big those stores are, and I'm navigating those stores newly on crutches. It was a mess. I would prefer to never go through that again in my life. Trying to navigate Buc-ee's when you don't even know how to move crutches, barely. Like you barely even know what you're doing on crutches, and you have to try and navigate Buc-ee's. That was not fun. Not a fun time. So the ortho doctor checked out my leg, and he bent my foot in some ways that was very, very painful. And so he kind of understood, like, you know, what was going on, and he didn't think I had made it any worse. He also doesn't know that I was walking on it, because he told me, he's like, we're gonna get you in a boot, and I was so happy as a boot and not a cast, because the boot can come off for showers and stuff, and changing my clothes and all that. He was like, we're gonna get you in a boot, and then you can start putting some weight on it. I just kind of sat there and I was like, oh, good, great. Start putting weight on it. Yes, I definitely haven't been doing that all week. And I was so afraid of that, too. Like, you know, they told me I could, and then when we got back home, I saw my paperwork it said not to put weight on a splint. And I was like, which one of these is right? Now for highlighter, I'm taking the Nabla Skin Glazing. This is the only highlighter I took with me because I knew it was the only one I was going to need. That I wound up not needing. Oh, so I guess I should probably tell you, like, the whole point of going to Florida was to go to this event that Alex wanted to go to. But the reason for driving was so we could go to something that I wanted to go to. Happened to be, you know, along the way. I really wanted to go to the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. They have the puppets from Labyrinth, which has been my favorite movie for probably like 14 years of my life. That has been my all-time favorite movie. And yeah, it's kind of a lifetime dream to go see the puppets from Labyrinth in real life. And they also had the puppets from Dark Crystal and like all the Muppets and stuff. And I just, you know, it'd be a really cool museum to go to. And I was so excited to go. And honestly, it was pretty much like the main thing that made me want to go on this vacation after I broke my leg. And of course, we wound up not going. We were gonna have to like wait in Atlanta, and honestly, after the, like, so many things just didn't go exactly how we planned, obviously. We left the second day of the event. There was only 2 days of the event. We left the second day of the event very early. We were barely even there. I was okay with not going. I mean, I was very, very upset. I was crying because I was mad at myself and really upset that I wasn't going to get to go do what I wanted to do, but at the same time, it wasn't going to be like what I wanted it to be like. It was going to be nowhere near the experience I wanted it to be. So Alex said, some other time when my leg is healed, we're just going to go for like a weekend to Georgia and just make a little weekend out of it. So I can still go. I'm still going to go, hopefully this year, but yeah, I ruined it all by breaking my leg. So I guess really the title of this video should be I broke my leg, went to Florida, saw a total eclipse, and I'm getting a fake tooth all in a week and a half. Because I did get to see the total eclipse, which was super exciting and awesome, and I'm so glad that I got to see it. And by the way, I was using the Wet n Wild Mega Liner, and I know my eyeliner looks horrible. Just let it be. I've had coffee today for the first time in like over a week because I was actually able to carry it, since I can actually now, I can walk with the boot without the crutches in very slow, short strides. So that's exciting. It's just a lot more sturdy and my leg feels so much better. But yeah, the rest of this is that I'm getting a fake tooth today, or at least I'm supposed to be getting a fake tooth today. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know I got 2 teeth removed like almost a year ago, I think. Like probably almost a year ago. It's been a very long journey trying to get this stupid tooth. Very expensive, long journey that I'm very upset about. But by the time I return to work, I will have been off work for 2 weeks. 1 week was for my vacation, so I took PTO time, and I'm probably going to take the rest of my PTO time for this week because I really didn't want to be off work that long. But my ortho doctor recommended me not go back for a few days, and a few days is going to be like the end of the work week, so I might as well just wait until the next work week instead of trying to squeeze me in this week. I had been working a lot more hours because my work was pretty short-staffed, and I really needed the money. I was trying to save up a lot of money for another trip that I'm going on this month, a shorter one, but still, you know, gonna cost money, and I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even save up money for that. I mean, I have, but like, now that saved money and my tax check is just gonna be going towards my stupid leg and my stupid tooth, and I didn't put setting spray on. Yeah, I really wanted to film a like spring outfit, you know, like inspo video. If you guys still want to see that, please let me know, because I may still film it, but it's gonna have a big clunky boot in it instead of all of the cute little dainty shoes that I wanted to wear. And I'm still gonna be in this boot for my little trip I'm taking in a couple of weeks. I'm still gonna be in my boot for that, and probably still needing my crutches to get long distances quicker. I mean, that is in a couple of weeks, and by then I will have been like, I guess like 3 weeks into this, so I am hopeful that I'll be moving around a little bit better by then. Maybe a little bit faster, hopefully, because we're gonna be in a big city, and moving slow doesn't work great in a big city. But I feel like that's pretty much everything. this tooth is the one I'm getting replaced. I'm getting a new one today, hopefully, as long as my dentist doesn't mess it up. Yeah, I feel like I've talked a lot. This is probably gonna be a really long video, and I'm very sorry for that. But hopefully you've enjoyed this chill little get ready with me. I'm gonna set my face, even though I already put mascara on, and I'm just doing it. I don't care. I'm just doing it. You guys could probably guess what I took with me for my lips. I took the e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liner. This is like such a close dupe for that Kylie Cosmetics one that I always use, Dulce K. Like, this is such a close dupe. This is in the shade Baddest Beige, I think is what that says. I don't have my glasses on, and that's incredibly difficult to read, but I think it's Baddest Beige. I'm very sorry this video is going to be late, too. Like, right now it's Thursday when I'm filming this, and that's I usually post on Wednesday or Thursday. I might try and get this video maybe even up tomorrow, since I really don't have anything else to do. We'll see. And don't get me wrong, Florida was so much fun. It always is. Though we still couldn't go to the beach. Now, that wasn't my fault, though. I mean, I thought it was going to be my fault that we couldn't go to the beach, but it actually wound up raining that entire time. We went through so much rain. It was not my fault we couldn't go to the beach. It was the rain's fault. So that made me feel a little bit better. I'm going to go get dressed and do my hair, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I think that is all for me today. I have a couple of hours until my dentist appointment, and I'm gonna go eat some lunch. These are my crutches. They've been killing my arm for the last week and a half now. But like I said, in small strides, I can walk without them, which is really nice. But for the most part, if I'm gonna be walking for a long time, or if I'm walking for long distances, best to have my crutches with me. Here is the boot in question. Nice big old fancy Frankenstein boot. If all goes well at the dentist, I will like show you guys my tooth. If everything goes well, I'll show you guys that when I get home. Oh yeah, and one other thing that happened while we were on vacation, I don't know if you guys saw, but I had one of my shorts went viral. It has 50,000 views, which is the most viewed thing on my channel at all. It has 50,000 views, and a bunch of people from a different country just ripped me up and spit me out on it. So, but they got me a bunch of views, and I also gained a bunch of subscribers and hit 2,000 subscribers in this last week. So, like, so many things have happened, and yeah, I'm so thankful for the 2,000 plus of you that are here. Hopefully there will be more. And please subscribe to my channel while you're here if you haven't already, and if you did enjoy this video. I don't usually do videos like this because I don't usually have anything to talk about. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! I'm back from the dentist, and my glasses are broken for like the 100th time, but I have a tooth. Yeah, it feels weird to have a tooth. I haven't had a tooth in like a year, so yeah. Yay!